The night of January 29, 2025, descended upon Washington, D.C. with a deceptive calmness. A blanket of snow glistened under the city lights, the air crisp and cold. The Potomac River, a silent giant winding through the heart of the nation's capital, reflected the twinkling cityscape. It was a night that whispered of peace, a night that would soon be pierced by tragedy. Unbeknownst to the unsuspecting city below, two specks of light moved across the sky, their paths destined to intersect with devastating consequences. One, a beacon of hope carrying weary travelers home. The other, a symbol of strength, engaged in a routine training exercise. In the skies above the Potomac, fate was weaving a tragic tapestry. American Eagle Flight 5342, a Bombardier CRJ-701ER, embarked on its journey from Wichita, Kansas, carrying dreams and aspirations alongside its 60 passengers and 4 crew members. It was a routine flight, another hop across the vast American landscape. The passengers settled into their seats, some lost in books, others gazing out at the darkening sky. The cabin crew, seasoned professionals with warm smiles, went about their pre-flight checks, their movements a well-rehearsed ballet. In the cockpit, Captain Miller and First Officer Davis ran through their pre-landing checklist. The mood was calm, professional, the air filled with the quiet hum of a well-tuned machine. They were descending towards Reagan National Airport, the bright lights of the city a beacon in the distance. High above the cityscape, a Sikorsky UH-60 Black Hawk helicopter sliced through the night air. On board were 3 U.S. Army personnel: Captain Rebecca Loback, a seasoned pilot with nerves of steel; Staff Sergeant Ryan O'Hara, the co-pilot, his focus unwavering; and Chief Warrant Officer Andrew Eves, the crew chief, his eyes scanning the ground below. The Black Hawk, its dark silhouette almost invisible against the backdrop of the night, was engaged in a routine night vision training mission. The crew, highly trained and experienced, were practicing maneuvers, their movements sharp and precise. They were cleared to operate in the vicinity of the airport, their altitude and flight path carefully coordinated with air traffic control. As Flight 5342 descended and the Black Hawk continued its training exercise, a series of fateful events began to unfold. The air traffic controller, his voice calm and steady, directed the airliner to adjust its altitude and heading. The pilots of Flight 5342 acknowledged, their voices betraying no hint of the impending danger. Meanwhile, the Black Hawk crew, their vision enhanced by night vision goggles, reported visual contact with the approaching airliner. They assured the controller they were maintaining a safe distance. But somewhere in the darkness, amidst the glow of city lights and the complexities of airspace management, a fatal miscalculation occurred. The Black Hawk, possibly exceeding its designated altitude, drifted too close to the descending airliner. Section 5, Aftermath, the icy grip of tragedy. At 8:49 p.m., a deafening roar tore through the night. The Black Hawk, its rotor blades a blur in the darkness, collided with the tail of Flight 5342. The impact was catastrophic. The airliner, its tail section sheared off, spiraled downwards, breaking apart mid-air. The Black Hawk, its rotors mangled and fuselage ripped, plummeted towards the icy waters of the Potomac. Emergency calls flooded 911. The calm voices of operators replaced by panic and disbelief. Emergency responders raced towards the scene, their sirens wailing a mournful symphony. The first responders arrived to a scene of unimaginable chaos. Debris littered the river's surface, the icy water reflecting the flashing lights of emergency vehicles. Section 6. The investigation, piecing together the puzzle. The following morning, the nation awoke to the horrific news. The Potomac River, a symbol of national pride, now held the wreckage of a tragedy. The National Transportation Safety Board, or NTSB, launched a full-scale investigation. Their mission to determine the cause of the crash and prevent such a tragedy from ever happening again. The investigation, meticulous and complex, focused on several key areas: air traffic control procedures, pilot judgment, communication between the pilots and air traffic control, and the possibility of mechanical failure. The black boxes from both aircraft were recovered, their data recorders holding vital clues to the final moments of the flight. Section 7. Legacy on Ice. A community in mourning. As the investigation unfolded, a heartbroken nation mourned the loss of 67 souls. Among the victims were 28 members of the figure skating community, athletes, coaches, trainers, and officials, returning from a national competition. Their dreams, their talent, their potential, extinguished in a horrifying instant. A memorial service, Legacy on Ice, was held at the Verizon Center, the home arena of the Washington Capitals. Thousands gathered to pay their respects, their grief palpable. Skating legends like Nathan Chen, Nancy Kerrigan, and Peggy Fleming delivered heartfelt eulogies, their voices thick with emotion. Section 8. New Dawn, New Rules. The FAA's response. The NTSB investigation, a painstaking process that took months to complete, revealed a series of contributing factors that led to the disaster. Miscommunication, pilot error, and limitations in air traffic control technology all played a part in the tragic events of that night. In response to the tragedy, the Federal Aviation Administration, or FAA, implemented sweeping changes to aviation regulations. These new rules included stricter guidelines for helicopter operations near airports, enhanced training for pilots on night operations and airspace management, and the implementation of new technologies to improve communication and coordination between pilots and air traffic control. Section 9. Echoes of Disaster Lessons Learned and the Future of Aviation Safety. The 2025 Potomac River mid-air collision serves as a stark reminder of the fragility of life and the ever-present risks inherent in aviation. It is a tragedy that echoes other aviation disasters throughout history, each one a painful lesson learned in the ongoing pursuit of safer skies. The question remains, could such a tragedy happen again? The answer, unfortunately, is never simple. Despite advancements in technology, the human element remains a critical factor in aviation safety. As we move forward, it is imperative that we remember the lessons learned from the Potomac River crash and continue to strive for a future where the skies are a little safer for everyone.